Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. We will be getting started very shortly. Blessings, everyone. Blessings. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Do y'all hear music? A little bit? Okay. It's a learning curve. This is my first time using Restream, so bear with me here. But we are getting started in just a few moments. Just making sure everybody has the link. And you guys can share on your Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. I'm going to stop the music here. I really wish that I knew how to do this, but I don't. All right. Our host will be here in just a moment. Dr. Renee, CeeLo, and Rachel. God bless everybody for being here now. Boom. All right, we lit. All right. All right, all right. We coming in. Okay, now I see. Good to see you guys. Hello, hello, hello. All righty. Hey, hey.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Waiting on just a few more folks. But thank you guys for being here. This is awesome. CeeLo and Rachel, nice to meet you guys. I'm London. God bless y'all. Where are you guys located?
Jersey City.
Oh, Jersey, stand up. All right, Jersey is in the building. That's what's up.
It's
I'm
Cello,
from
by
Newark.
the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Cello, not CeeLo.
Oh, I apologize.
That's cool. That's
Cello.
cool.
I got you. So our host is here. We'll be co-hosting together. My sister and brother in the corner, Trisha Bell, and Daryl Bell with the red and the white. They're gonna be with us today. We have Dr. Renee Roberts. Good to see you, lady. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All the way from Miami, from South Florida. Tamara, all the way in Portland, right? You in Portland? Where you at? Yeah.
Right now, yep.
Portland, Oregon, from Chicago. Grant, big brother Grant, big little brother Grant.
What's good? What's good?
Good to see you, brother. Toy. So we need Toya, we need Mahogany, we need. Thank you guys for being with me. It's my first time using this particular platform, but we're gonna get it cracking. Okay, Purvis. Alrighty. How's everybody doing? Everybody had a good Sunday? Worship service?
Yep.
Awesome. I know y'all just like, let's just get to it. Yeah, because I'll be the same way on the other end. Krista, Toy, and Doc Shannon. So I'm gonna get them a chance to come in. But yes, so the only problem I'm having is I don't know how to play music through here. So y'all didn't hear the music when I was playing it, right? No? All right, let me try to play something now and see. Can y'all hear that? Ah, backstage. Thank you. Can y'all hear that? Alrighty. Well, I'm going to share my screen and see will that make a difference once we get to that portion. All right, Dr. Shannon.
Hello.
Good to see you. How you doing? Where is Toy?
I'm
Who's
here.
well? Oh, only 10 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can y'all hear her? She said, "I'm here." Y'all heard that?
Yep.
Alrighty. So, welcome,
Hi, everybody.
welcome to the Chocolate Bloom Room. Yeah, this is gonna be a really cool conversation. We have been graced by the Lord to give us this awesome song. I'm sure everybody has heard it by now, right? Y'all better have listened to the song by now. No, but thank y'all for supporting and just being here to have this conversation with us. I'm gonna pass the ball to my big sister now. So yeah, you already know, a little bit of what we talked about, just the background of the song, and we can start sort of there. But yeah,
Okay.
introduce yourself. Who are you? Why are
Oh,
you
hi. Hello.
here?
Is there an echo? Do y'all hear an echo? Okay.
No?
All right, cool.
Good.
I'm Trisha Bell, and I am London's big sister, and really, I feel like we like blood. But I'm here for support, just to talk about the song and kind of walk us through, what it's about. And I'm going to be asking some of you all some questions. I know, just for clarity, you're taking over the second half? Is that what's happening? Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm looking at the itinerary. I just want to make sure I see and know the transitions.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me start by saying I did have a death in the family yesterday, guys. So not yesterday, Friday. So everything has been like shifted. I would have been way better prepared and all this stuff. But literally my family's right outside. It's 50 people right outside my house right now, planning and doing things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I know we're live and I'm still saying that. But yeah, so I would like for us we can back and forth. When you want to throw it back to me, you can. I'm a natural host, so it's no biggie. We can both look at the itinerary and work that way. This is one of the first times I have been on the behind the scenes and on the forefront at the same time. So yeah, we're gonna rock with it. We're gonna roll with the punches today. So yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And did you get the song? Is the song able to play? How should we maneuver that? Just want to make sure.
I'm getting that together right now. I'm getting that together right now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to go live. Are you going to do a countdown just so I know?
No, we're already live. We're live
Oh,
right
we
now.
are live.
Yeah. That's what I was
Okay.
saying. Yeah, no, I'm saying that we're
Awesome.
live. We are live. Hello in
Amazing.
live land.
Hello.
So y'all share with y'all's
Okay.
community. And like I said earlier too, this is a new platform for me. I had a day, a 2 day, a day, not really, to learn it. Everything was pretty simple except for the music and something else. But we're
All good.
here. And even if we can't play the song,
It's all good.
you should have heard it. Should have heard the song by now, right? And that will encourage people to go ahead and go stream it. Go stream the song. Go listen to the song. So yeah, I will be
Okay.
quiet
So let's just get it popping now that I know that we're live. It's
now.
cool. It's live here. I didn't see that.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad to be here, just in support of London, Nikki, and Toya. I'm so like proud of y'all for releasing this song. I remember when I first heard it was months ago, and I wasn't completed. And I was like, yo, this song is really, really dope. Just the content, the production. Shout out to Toyo on that production. You
Yes.
really, really
Yes.
did such an amazing job. And so yeah,
There
when
she
you were
is.
doing it, I was like, oh, we're gonna release it. It's gonna be a single. I was like, yes. So
Yeah.
now that it's released, let's just talk about a little bit about you guys as artists. Because I know that for some of you, it's your first time, coming out as an artist. For some of you, y'all are vets, you know what I mean? Nikki and Toya, I know y'all some vets in the game. But I just want everybody to get to know you a little bit. So we're gonna start with Nikki. Nikki, tell the people about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. I am Nikki Rochelle. I'm a singer songwriter, do a little strumming, but I love God. So that's first and foremost. So you're going to hear that interwoven in everything that I release. There's been a few songs released already, songs like Man That I Love, which probably is like, oh, who she talking about? She talking about Jesus? No, that was to my future husband, who is now my husband. And so but being able to share in a very relevant way, um, life music. And I'm a little eclectic. I like a little bit of everything. You can probably see me in about 5 different prints at one time on any given day. But that's also kind of like the truth about the sound. I don't really try to specifically been to one thing, but I do want to tell a story. So that's something that you can look forward to in music that's coming out soon as well. Yes. So, but this was such a pleasure to be able to share with my sisters. I'm sure we'll probably share a little bit of that story, that background. But yes, I've been singing for about 10 plus years at this point. And but there's a lot more to come. So I'm just excited to be on this journey and to be trusted to be able to share the way that I do.
All right, let's bring to Toya. Tell us about
Hello,
yourself.
hello everyone. My name is Latoya Hawkins. My artist name is Christia. Um, yeah, first and foremost, I'm a child of God. That's like my foundation. So the music is just a tool to get His message out. That's how I view and see it. I started writing when I was 9 years old. I didn't know how to write, but I would just start with poems, and then I know God was just showing me how to pen and merge the poems with the music. So I've been doing that for a while, and growing at it. I didn't know I could produce until I went to college for music. I had no idea. I took a course and I fell in love with it, and that's how I started producing from there at Ramapo College of New Jersey. Added it as a major, so I have my degree in it, and I just been doing what I love to do on the side for a while. I kind of got discouraged, especially because I didn't see a lot of people that look like me in terms of like, women that does what I do. So I kind of felt a little bit intimidated as well. So I kind of would just kind of fade in the background, if I could be honest, for a long time. But finally, I gathered up the courage in the Lord to go for what He has gifted me with. He gave me this gift for a reason. It's not to hide, it's to share with others, and to use it as a tool to bring more people to Christ and to uplift and encourage. So I'm just grateful that I was able to partner now with my sisters, London and Nikki Rochelle, to do just that. We were very adamant about this message being something that uplifts and exudes love, for Black men, and for just Black people. I hope, it's for Black men, but I hope everyone that is Black hears and feels the love behind it and is encouraged by it. So yes, thank you guys for partnering up and had not just like for the song, but just in general being like sisters and great friends. This was like it was so easy to work with you guys. So yeah, I'm grateful to be here, y'all. Hi.
Thank you for that. And London, let the people know who you are and what brought you to being an artist.
Big little old me. What can I say? No, I'm just kidding. No, man, I'm just so grateful to the Lord. I really am, because it has been a long journey getting here. And I haven't arrived. I haven't arrived quite yet, right? It's only one song, calm down. But I it's taken me a long time to really embrace the fullness of my multifaceted creativity. It has been um really tough getting to this point, and with the helps of people like a Dr. Renee, people like a Tamara, people like a Nikki Rochelle, and of course a Trisha Bell, right? Like, just y'all small encouragements have been getting me small steps to a place of more confidence creatively. I really think musically, I've been a poet since I probably was like 12. Spoken word poetry, been writing forever. Started performing when I was probably 15 or 16 years old. And yeah, I just kind of stayed there as it relates to lyrically. But music, it's weird because I always was singing. I mean, I've been singing my whole life too. I'm no Nikki Rochelle, guys, but I am, and we play like that with each other. But I am a natural worshiper. Always been, always will be. And it doesn't matter what context. It doesn't matter what environment, what church. I'm probably gonna be a trumpet wherever I go. And so it is. I think the Lord is just trying to show me, like, yeah, you're literally a vessel. Like whatever I've given your hands to do, you're going to do it creatively and for my glory. And so with music, I finally, a word was spoken over me, dare I say, prophetically. And it was already sort of brewing in my heart like 2 years ago. It was already brewing in my heart to like try to rap. I'm like, man, I'm not a rapper. Like, I'm a poet. You know what I mean? People would say, oh, you're a poet, so you should be a natural rapper. It's not always the case. Not always the case. It is, rhythm and poetry, if you want to say that, but not all the time. For me, I am very wordy. I'm like a natural teacher too. Nobody don't want to hear all that when they want to hear music, right? So trying to transition from poetry to rap has been a hard learning curve for me. But I knew that it was the Lord even before I got that word. Like I just really began to get a hunger to learn, a hunger to want to write songs specifically, not poems, but songs. And I started reaching out to my big brother, Stephen the Levite back there in the red behind Trisha, telling Trish. And then we ended up doing this songwriting camp that really, really put a battery in my back, like we say in the hood, and really gave me the confidence even more to really allow my voice to be heard in music. And the Lord had reminded me that I was supposed to be a part of infiltrating culture, infiltrating media, infiltrating, sort of that mountain of entertainment, if you will. So anyway, Chocolate Bloom is just the tip of the iceberg, not just for me, but for me and my sisters, because we have tons of ideas and we have tons of like just like, what word do I want to use, just inspiration that the Lord has just been giving us even in the midst of each other. So yes, that is all.
Yes, I'm grateful that y'all were able to share just a little bit of insight on how you became who you are as artists. Tell us about Chocolate Bloom. Like, what does that even mean? Why did y'all come up with that title? Talk to the people about that, because first of all, the name is amazing. I didn't even know there was like an actual meaning
Yeah.
till you told me, but tell the people what it means.
I nominate Nikki Rochelle. She's the articulate one when it comes to
Yes,
this. So
I
you're on
love it.
stage, ma'am.
Sure. So alongside of singing, I'm also uh, a chef, and so I feel like this is kind of why they keep bugging me about this. But no, I'll share again. So chocolate, if you know anything about chocolate, you have to. It has to go through a process called tempering, and basically what that is it's literally putting it into different levels of temperature, bringing it up to certain temperatures in order for it to be the have the luster, have the nice smooth finish that we all enjoy, because it doesn't look like that when it's raw. And basically, when you get a chocolate bar and you uh, leave it in your car and then say, "Oh, it's melting a little bit. Let me put it in the refrigerator." Basically, that whole process, um, going from hot to cold, it's taking it out of a tempered space and it starts to separate. And so when it looks ashy and no longer edible, it still is edible. But that process is called chocolate bloom, chocolate blooming. And so you're seeing a separation. You're seeing the fat solid sitting on top of it. And the title was actually prompted by Christia Music, and we were kind of just talking about different ideas, even though we had already had a topic in mind. And we sat with it, and it was just like, wow. So basically, being able to say that while I know that there are so many different components of a man, there are so many things that make up specifically our Black men, complexities and things that are beautiful, things that sometimes make it, them seem really complicated and hard to figure out. All of those things are in there, and we see you, and we love you. And so being able to highlight what a lot of times most of society will just kind of ignore and walk past, like the things that they do on a daily basis, takes so much courage, takes so much grit. And while it may not be acknowledged by the masses, we wanted to pause and say that we see it.
So why do you think it's important to talk about this type of thing, this specific topic? What made y'all feel like this is important to talk about?
I'll take this. I'll start.
Go ahead.
I'll take it. I think that, like I was saying, the daily experience of the daily Black experience that a lot of people would like for us to be quiet about, would like for us to, get over, is hard. There's a lot that goes into just the day-to-day. Things that other people find simple are not, and require, like, just something as simple as going in for an interview. You are automatically going to be cast typed based on your name. Well, is this Jerome? I'm just going to assume, so there's already things that people are already setting up against you before you even open the door. Right. And that kind of weight, just to like, can I breathe? The simple things down to the things that are really obvious that many of us are aware of. Obviously, in 2020, we are still dealing with so much social injustice, and it's important to not just say that, like, it's expected of you to take out the trash, right? Like, my husband opens the door for me still to this day. We're not, in the dating phase anymore, but there is still a genuine desire for him to want to care for me in those ways continually. And I shouldn't just bypass it. Like, it's a courtesy, and it's not, you don't have to do it. Like, from the small to the great, I think it's something to be said about, like, I see you and I appreciate you, and I want to continue to love on you. Like, and to start the conversation about, like, how beautiful they really are, because they don't get a chance to share their feelings. They're not asked often how they feel. They're just taught to suck it up, pull your bootstraps up, chin up, and keep it moving. Don't let anyone know how you're feeling. And we wanted to be able to say, no, like, nah, fam, you matter, and what you do matters, and what you do counts. And if you didn't do it, I wouldn't be the same person that I am. Like, it impacts my life. I think that's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for the men on the panel, I want to ask you all, have you all, like, can you think of a lot of songs that are made for you? And if you can't, like how important is it for y'all to hear, just like positive, like, affirmations and just, having you as Black men put or seen in a good light? I know that's like two kind of like heavy questions, but you can answer both or either or.
I'm gonna reach out to Purvis first. Can you? No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, bro. So while he gets that together, one of the other brothers can jump in. I know he had a time frame, so I wanted to grab him first. Pastor Grant.
I guess I'll go first. For me, I think As many of you probably aware of is Toby and Wingwe. I think he's probably the first person I heard celebrate black culture so explicitly. And so for me, several of his songs I feel like spoke to me. But um, I think the song Chocolate Bloom I would definitely put up there as speaking to me directly. But I don't feel like a lot of songs have been directed to us. Uh, you know, as I think Esau McCauley said when he wrote Reading While Black, like he didn't write a book uh, that was just for black people, but he was writing to black people. And so I felt like Chocolate Bloom was in that same vein, that I didn't feel like it was for me. I felt like it was to me. And there's a difference.
Mm.
And so that's kind of for me, like that really resonated with me. So I don't feel like there's a lot of songs that have done that, but I feel like y'all ladies did a great job of celebrating us and appreciating us. And for me, I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, I'll jump in. Um, I think I think it's good and important because like I think in general, like I know at least for myself as a husband and as a father, the default is sacrifice. Like you go to work, you do what you have to do, you do stuff around the house, you try to do what you need to do with the kids, you make sure they eat. And like when money's low, you just try to make sure that everybody else has what they got, what they need. You don't prioritize yourself. And like my wife had to like at some point this year, she mentioned something about Christmas and how I think I forgot who it was, but she read somebody else on Twitter saying that like we don't dudes like black dudes in particular, but dudes in general like generally don't think about what they really want for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not really concerned about what they really want for Christmas because they're more so just focused on making sure everybody else gets what they get. And to an extent, there's a sense of I don't expect to get it because I make all the money, and who's gonna buy it for me if I'm not? Because I'm sacrificing all of my money to make sure everybody else gets what they want. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, so all that to say, just to give context for like, I don't even think about like, oh, I need encouragement, I need this, I need that. I'm just used to not getting it necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like I do get it. My wife is encouraging, but I'm just saying in general, like I don't live in a world where like I expect like people to come through and be like, "Hey, you're doing a great job. That's great. Like keep going," or "Hey, like we see you sacrificing and doing all this cool stuff." It's like I'm not used to that being the case. Like I think a lot of men are just out there doing what they need to do. They're not waiting for a pat on the back or an applause. They're just going because they know they need to go.
Mhm.
And so I think songs like this, like I think even to an extent, like it takes a minute for you to pause and realize, like, oh, I do need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think even just like encouragement, like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to even be so numb and so used to the way life is that you kind of like sleep on the fact that you're being encouraged. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the replay value of it is also like beneficial because it makes you go back and say, you know what, actually that is kind of encouraging. Like I didn't catch it the first time, but the second time I was like, oh, you know what? I did need to hear that. That's actually really good for me to hear that and for me to stop and be encouraged because I'm so used to going. I'm not even checking for encouragement like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So it's a great song.
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so for my experience, I listen to a lot of Christian music, Christian rap. I listen to a variety of Christian music, gospel, Christian contemporary. My parents are from Dominican Republic, so I listen to Christian Spanish music. They have Spanish rap that's Christian. So I listen to a variety of these, and these have a major impact on my life because of my faith in God, my faith in Christ. So I definitely keep my ear plugged with a lot of these songs, to encourage me. That's just one of my encouragement when it comes to music. But another one is fellowship with other brothers. Even if it comes to we fellowshipping when we're talking about sports or whatever, or we're fellowshipping when we're talking about God. But I just try to make sure that I'm always plugged in, listening to, even Christian music that always reminds me of who I am in God as a man, period. Even when I read the scriptures for myself, that this music connects with the scriptures that connects with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's my personal experience.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. I think, yeah, I mean, this just shows the importance of this song, the content of the song, and y'all's intentionality in speaking to Black men and making sure that they feel, just good about who they are. Like, yo, you just Black man. Like, we see you, we love you. Like, I think for any Black person in general, right, that's just extremely important to hear. But for the Black man specifically, um, yeah, I mean, y'all have already said it. I don't even think about it, or so it's just I'm just grateful that y'all did the song. Question for everyone on the panel: what's your prayer for Black men in America? This is for anybody.
I can take a stab at that. So my honest answer is that I don't really like my answer to that question. Because when I think about my prayer for Black men in America, I realize, and the Black men in my life, I realize that a lot of those prayers are focused on protection and survival
Mm.
as opposed to self actualization and thriving. Um, that makes me a little sad.
Mm.
That's
Mm,
real.
wow.
Not to be a downer, but you asked.
No, no, it's real. I mean, that's
Mhm.
that's that's our life, right?
Mhm.
I have two boys, and I think about it, and I'm like, that's the only thing that I can pray about, is just their protection, and that they grow up to not just survive but thrive.
Mm.
Because it's a rarity, right, for Black men to, I mean, it's changing, but there's still that reality, and just knowing the foundation of our history here in America,
Mhm.
it's just not good. So yeah. Anybody else?
I definitely have something to say to that. It's my prayer for Black men in America that we not allow the what society has projected on us,
Mhm.
to let that recreate a new identity for us, or cause us to have an identity crisis on who we really are. There's going to be a lot of things that come your way, especially the enemy, right? We know it's the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He's trying to take us off course, so we lose focus of who we are. And I just feel like, with all of the things in the media, and I would say even in music, um, and the images that we've seen, I know even experiencing myself growing up, it's like you kind of like have this, you don't really know, like who you are, but sometimes it's so much that's thrown at you, you forget. And I just hope that for Black men that they don't lose who they are, especially in God. Like,
Mhm.
God is your creator. Like, he's the one that made you. He's the one that formed you in your mother's womb before anyone else knew you. Like, don't forget who you are and whose you are. And
Mm.
when you know who you are and whose you are, then you don't even have uh you don't even want to even convince people of who you are, because I feel like that's what a lot was going on now. We're trying to prove and convince and who we are, when the power is not in convincing who we are as a people. It's knowing for ourselves who we are and who we belong to. I always say Africa is better, but kingdom is way better. We belong to the kingdom. Africa, okay, yeah, that's our roots, and I respect it 100%. But kingdom,
Mm.
we're ambassadors of the kingdom of God.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it's at. That's where the true identity is at. And when
I,
you got that, you got power and you got everything you need.
I
Mm.
got to follow up on that because that's my prayer.
Hmm.
My prayer is for Black men to know their identity, and that their identity is in Christ. That you were created in God's image. And so when you were speaking that thing was just, man, that thing was blessing me because before I even came on here, that was in my spirit. Know whose you are, know who you are. You were created in God's image. So if you
Yes.
don't know that, you're gonna be tossed to and fro. No matter what you do, you're gonna be tossed to and fro. You have to know your identity is found in God. So I come in agreement with you with that prayer, sis.
Mm.
Amen.
Let me jump in too, because I've been thinking about, excuse me, I've been thinking specifically about like friendships and stuff like that with Black men. And like what you bring up kind of uh you know it's kind of like the foundation for one of my concerns, which is the fear of appearing less than or other something other than who we are, right? Like
Mm.
I think knowing who we are, knowing that we're in Christ, knowing being confident in our masculinity, um if we're confident in those things, we're not concerned about looking gay because I hugged my brother or I told him that I loved him, or or even some of the things that we see other cultures doing that we're just like not used to here in America. Like in other cultures, cats hold hands and kiss each other on the cheek and stuff like that. Like, but we don't do that stuff because we don't want to look gay. You know what I'm saying? So I think about just how difficult it is for brothers to maintain friendships. I know I follow this brother Anthony Bradley on Twitter, and he's been talking about suicide rates among men a lot lately.
Mm.
Um, and it's
Yeah.
it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it's not, it's not what I'm used to hearing. But I guess maybe because of the pandemic and just other things or whatever. But dudes don't usually have a lot of friends, and we don't maintain good friendships. And and I think those suicides are a result of some of that. And I think part of that is because of, and again, I don't know to what degree, but some of it's because, we don't know how to be good friends and, without trying to avoid looking like feminine or, whatever. So yeah, so I think, just throwing that on top of the whole, like knowing who you are and, whose you are, and your confidence in that, walking in it and not trying to prove it, how that benefits us. Because even and I'm gonna throw this in there too, like even the conversations, like being Black in America has always been a response to whatever white people or the country or whatever is trying to throw at us, or like attached to our character or whatever. Like we've always been distracted by, whatever accusations they have about our lack of humanity. And we've been going around
Amen.
proving stuff for the last, centuries. You know what I'm saying? Um, but like it distracts us from the work of actually taking care of each other. You know what I'm saying? So there's a dope Toni Morrison quote that I've retweeted a bunch of times. I don't know it directly, and I'm not gonna, butcher it, but she just makes a good point about how, like, the work of racism is distraction.
Mm.
So focus on
God, come
doing
on.
what we need to do and not just trying to refute everything that they throw at us. CRT is the new one, you know what I'm saying? But focus on doing what we need to do and helping each other. And that's the other thing that's so dope about the song, that you're talking to us and not just talking to white people about us. Like that's really like where our strength is, when we're helping each other out, when we're not just focused on the white gaze and how they see us and all that kind of stuff, but we're really just trying to help each other out. So
It's good.
Yes, exactly. Uh, I'm gonna slip in my 1 cent because I only have one today, not two. Uh, my prayer is that we, as a people in its entirety, learn how to receive love, because I think even, and me and Nikki were talking about this recently. I mean, me and Trick, we talk about this all the time, right? Like learning how to, like, even me as a female, I still struggle growing up how I grew up with receiving even compliments, let alone someone actually trying to love me, right? Hold the phone for my husband. But like, it's difficult. And I don't know, I'll say this. I think this is even a step for women like me who are single, that I literally had to envision and think about my future husband, right? Like, I want to talk to you even before I even meet you, even before I even touch you or whatever. Like, know that you are seen, know that you are known, know that you are loved, just because you are God's, just because you were created in his image, just because we are connected by his blood. And I just kept thinking about that as everybody was talking. I'm just like learning how to receive, like, because even like you were saying, Daryl, like, you know, even people will look at me weird, right? Like, even if I'm, because even in the, believe it or not, even in the female community, people look at you kind of crazy if you a little too close with your sister, or if you're a little too, and it's interesting because society doesn't understand purity. They don't understand what purity looks like. And because all we see is Bad Girls Club and Love and Hip Hop and people fighting on TV, and all you see is gossip and foolishness, when you have a genuine and pure connection with a person that's not your blood, people often question that. I think I was talking about it on the IG Live on Monday. If y'all heard of the artist Smokey Norfolk, the gospel singer, put up his post went viral. It was a picture of him with his son. His son was only like 16 or something like that, but big enough, right? Like bigger than him. He's a small guy, and his son was laying on his chest. Something so tender, so sweet, so beautiful. And people are like, oh, that's gay. I can't believe he would post that. Like, what black man gonna do that? All of these crazy comments. And I'm just like, man, when are we gonna get it? When are we gonna understand that purity trumps it all? Love conquers all, right? God's love, right? And it's like, it's his son, you crazy people. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, and so anyway, I am praying that we learn how to receive, and we learn how to even receive from one another, right? Like, not this, like, this fake whatever, just like genuinely, like, when I feel that spirit of jealousy rising up in me, I compliment the person. That's me. That's my personal habit. Literally, I will cut the jealousy by saying the thing that I envy, or the thing that I feel is beginning to rise, right? Like, against my spirit man, right? Like, I don't even feed into it. I'm like, oh no, if I want to, like, her face is beat, sis, we can get that makeup from, or teach me, girl, you gotta teach me how to do that, or whatever it is. I combat it just in a simple way, because I mean, why would I be and I'm really tired, guys, so forgive me, but why would I be jealous of you when God gave me all of this?
Yeah.
You
Come
feel what
on
I'm
now.
saying? And
And
so
that's a lot.
yeah,
And
so we gotta
he gave
learn.
you a
I,
lot
Okay.
to work with.
thank you.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
but yeah, we gotta learn how to celebrate each other, and that's what I'm about. I'm stopping this, and I'm just trying to be a part of the change I want to see. And that's why I was like, we gotta put it out. We can't just sit on it. You know, we gotta push it, we gotta birth it, we gotta push it out. It just felt so urgent for me. So yeah, I wanna pass the ball to Dr. Renee, because we got a couple of folks in here, intersection, pastors, therapists, life coaches, they're all, overlaying. So please
Before you do,
jump
can
in.
I just interject? Because I wanted to, I'm
Please,
so sorry, not to cut
please,
you off.
Dr. Shannon, please,
I
please.
wanted to tag on to something that you were saying about the importance of us being able to receive love. And just to share a very brief story from my own experience, I remember when I had my first, I want to call it my first apartment, but real talk, it was a room. Like it was just, it was a room. And I was like a junior in college, maybe. It was the summer before my junior year in college. And I had like all these part-time jobs and I rented this room. So, I had a car. I was feeling like grown. And I remember one of my jobs was I was working at New York and Company. That used to be my spot back in the day. Somebody know about that.
I used to work there too. So.
And I remember, I think it was before cell phones. I think somehow I was in contact with my mother, and my mother said, "Your father put money in your account for your rent," and I fell apart in the store because I think that was just when I was starting to recognize that that's how my father loves me.
Yes.
Right? Like my mom is gonna rub my back and baby, it's okay, and what you're going through and how you're feeling and da 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 da. Like my mom is gonna do all that. My dad is gonna bring me something to eat, right? Like I'm going to White Castle. You want something? Right? Right? Like that. He's going to, look at my car and be like, you need to get them tires rotated. He going to get up on Saturday and fuss and wash the car and say, this car is how you let this car get this dirty. But I had to learn how to recognize the love that was coming from my father so that I could receive it. My mother, my grandmother, I don't have any aunts, but my mother, my grandmothers, they loved me in a way that I easily recognize. But I had to learn, like, when he does that, he's loving me. And I think like that has helped me so much in all of my relationships, all of my relationships with men, because the men in my life, like they are not talk about it. Like, let's have a whole long thing. They like what we need to do. But when I learned how to recognize that as love, I realized that my life was full of love for men, but I just hadn't been properly recognizing it. So, Dr. Renee, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tag on to London's receiving love.
No,
But
that's good. I got tons of stories just within this circle alone. Like,
Yeah.
God is so gracious, man. Please,
Yeah.
Dr. Renee.
No, that was really good. I was just thinking, my prayer for men is that they would heal. I think it is so important to understand that we live in a culture that conditions our Black men to believe that they are certain things that they really aren't. And it has been carrying on for years in history. I mean, you go back to slavery, and our men are broken. And I've raised 4 sons. My sons are from 27 up to 33, and all 4 of them, I can see wounds, and some of the wounds are generational. And so, in order to self-actualize us, in order to love themselves, in order to have self-identity, it's going to be so important for our men to heal. And this type of song, I thought it was so awesome because I believe it speaks to the healing of our men. If they really listen to it, which was another thing, just trying to gain their attention. I forgot which man said it on here, but most men don't look to be encouraged. This is just not something they look for because culturally they've been told this is what you're supposed to be. You are the provider. You are the protector. You are you have to do all of these things. And no one's really given them the permission to heal. And so I'm constantly praying for our Black men to heal. Like their souls, their hearts, their minds, their wills, their emotions, to heal, because healing is what's going to really bring them into alignment with who they are, into alignment with their relationship with God, into alignment with their families, into alignment with their prosperity. It's going to help them build a greater legacy for those that are behind them. But healing, that is my deepest prayer when I pray for our Black men. And that's only because, like I said, I've raised 4 sons. Prior to me raising my sons, I was more like Shannon, that was just like, my prayers weren't like that. But the experience has broadened my perspective when it comes to our Black men, because they are hurting, they are broken, and there's no model for them to follow in that. The only models they have is, be strong and do this and do that and do that. But when do they get a chance to process what they're feeling and process their brokenness and process the abuse they've been through? And they don't have an opportunity, because we've culturally placed this stigma on them that this is what you do, this is how you function, this is how you operate, and if you're not doing that, you're not being a man. And we have to break that cycle. It's a vicious cycle that's killing not just the men that we know now, but our future generations that are coming up. Is going to kill them as well.
You preaching today.
Wow. Listen. The men, jump in, y'all, because I want to hear personally, I want to hear what man loved you intentionally in your life. I'm gonna throw a new question in. Sorry. That's, but yeah, like what man specifically? Because I know, like, even me being a female, and I had a dad, right? And I have a stepfather, right? But there's still some missing links, some wounds and some holes in there that the Lord is trying to heal. And even my brother Daryl, like, simple stuff. Like, and we don't talk often, but when he does, it punches me in the heart. Like, and it does something to my heart that begins to heal me in a whole new way. So men, I know y'all have a whole nother perspective on that.
I'm gonna just say 2 right now. I'm gonna say first, my father. My father showed me, my brothers, he showed us love ever since the day we were born. And we always knew our father loved us, and it made a big difference in our life. And I just thank God for that to this day, because he still shows that same love. Even if I go by his house, I go by my parents' house, and if I'm leaving after a certain time, he always asking, he always saying, call me when you get home. I'm grown, you know what I'm saying? But my pops is like, call me when you get home. I want to make sure you got home all right. You know what I'm saying? So my pops still show me that love and still sees me. Though I'm grown, he still sees me as his son. You know what I'm saying? Is the son that he saw since birth, And another one is Rachel's dad, my wife's dad, who's passed away now. When I gave my life to Christ, he was the one that discipled me. And not only did he lived the example, he was the example. I saw it even without him speaking it, and then he also spoke it. I saw it when the way he treated her mother, his wife. I saw how he treated his children, and I saw how he was as a pastor. And he really connected with us. Like, he really made time for us. For anyone in the congregation, especially the men, he wanted the men to be able to grow and to be strong men of God. Not only did he read the scriptures, but he loved the scriptures. So that made me want to love the scriptures. He studied it. He taught me how to study it. He taught me how to rightly divide the word. He taught me, don't just get it from, get the Bible is what you need, but you also need some help to study in it, like Bible commentaries, and just like sometimes he would even say, listen, go to the Greek and the Hebrew. And to me, that was just a challenge. Listen, there's so much more when it comes to digging in his word. And it's up to you to really want to dig, because it's going to make an impact in your life as a man. And that's still, it's still on me today, because the way my mindset is, I don't care where I'm at. I don't care what situations in my way. If it's for me, if God said, this is my will for your life, it don't matter what giants in your path. racism, you know what I'm saying? If it's there's gentrification happening in my neighborhood, God said, listen, do you have enough faith that you can accomplish all that I've created you to accomplish? So these men have made a difference in my life because I see them accomplish things, and they didn't let anything, no matter what was going on in the world, they didn't let anything stop them from doing what God has called them to do, what God has created them to do. So that's my passion, and that's what I want to do when I talk to other men. As I'm encouraged by other men, I want to encourage them that it don't matter what giants in the way. If God is for it, if that's God's will for your life to accomplish and conquer, so what if it's hard? That's when God gets the glory, because all you're gonna say, man, it was nobody but God. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have accomplished this. So these giants that come in my way, it's just gonna show that it was all God for me to come and to defeat these giants that come in my path. So those two men have made a big difference in my life. And one last thing, the kissing on the cheek, I've done that with her dad. I would have never thought I would have ever done anything like that. Sometimes even still, I'm like, yo, I can't believe but it was just a genuine love. Yeah. That's why when you see Italians, it's nothing for them to do it. Mm-hmm. They give kiss on the cheek, and it's like when I've done that with him, it was like I never felt any funny feeling as far as when it comes to that's gay. Nah, this is like true brotherly love that I even read about when I read for myself in the Bible that they did that. Yeah. When you talked about Smokey Norfolk, guess who laid on Jesus' bosom? John, a grown man. He laid on Jesus' bosom, and sometimes I'd be like, man, I wish I actually seen that. To see a grown man laying on another grown man's bosom, and it's like nobody looking at it like it's funny. That makes a big difference. So, but I went a little long on that, but that those two men were just two of some men that have made a big impact in my life that still has its impact to this day.
Preaching.
Yeah. I gotta refrain because y'all get me excited. Y'all hyping me up. But I want to hear from the people who haven't spoken yet. Krista, welcome. Tamara, welcome.
Yeah, hey,
bestie. Yo, yeah. Tell me what you guys what would be your prayer for Black men today as it relates to the song, right? Like, what would be your prayer?
I would tap in if I could, just to add to what everybody else has said. Can you hear me? I keep having the mute button on. Okay, cool. It's a bit of a repeat of what everyone else has said, which says a lot about our culture and our men. The fact that most of us had to pause and didn't have an answer right away. And I think it's not because we didn't have one answer, but because we had too many. We had too many prayer requests and it was heavy, right? So we're sitting and we're just like, which one? Which prayer do you want me to share? But I would just add on top to what everyone else has said that my prayer would be that young boys, before they become grown men, would just find value in their difference. Right. And that's already been said differently. And I'm just going to say it this way because just like, let me get his name right. Is it CeeLo? It's too small on the screen.
Cello.
Am I saying his name?
Cello.
So sorry. Yes. So just like you were saying, how you said you wish that you could have seen, you know, just men loving in that way without it being awkward or weird. My prayer is that young boys can see early just value in their difference, because I feel like there's always struggle connected to finding their identity. And I think it is that way because Black people aren't a monolith and Black men aren't either, right? But we've got two different voices going on. We've got culture telling us what Black men should look like, what manhood needs to look like, what a strong man looks like. And for Black men, a lot of times, I was looking at a documentary recently about this, and they were just speaking about how it's always the picture that's presented for Black men tends to beat up on Black men's bodies because you have to be good in sports. Well, what happens in sports? You're working yourself to the bone is struggle. right? And then you're beating your body. That's not what a beautiful black man needs to look like. But I think young black
Right.
boys need to see early that it just doesn't have one picture. There's not just one view. So my prayer is that they find value in their difference early, so that they're not called soft because they want to hug another man, that they're not called soft because they can forgive easily. You know what I mean? Like losing the struggle in their, and I almost said in their fight to find, out who they are, but there it is again. That's what
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to feel like. That's what I don't want even us as sisters, mothers, and future mothers to have to feel like when praying for and watching over our black men that we love so much. We don't want it to always feel like a fight or a struggle. Just who you are, the things you love, the things that you like. It may be different than this man and what culture's telling you. It may be different than your neighbor, but there's value in your difference. And you can stand strong in that. And so my prayer is that young boys find that early. Yeah.
That's so good. There's value in your difference. Like that it just reminded me of, even my son who's 12. I think that's something that we're trying to help him to understand. We've never raised a 12-year-old before, let alone a 12-year-old boy, black boy, and who's like super into like, you know, just he's so creative, y'all. Like he's just on another level. And I'm like how do we help him to grow in the confidence that he already has, right? It's already there. But keeping it, molding it into a healthy um, mindset, and helping him to understand like, yo, you may not view things the same way everybody else does, and that's okay. And just trying to like help him to see that there is value in your differences. You don't talk like everybody else. You don't walk like, that's okay. That's all right. And I think sometimes he kind of sometimes feels like a outsider. And I don't ever want him to feel like that. I want him to feel that confidence. So I think, oh, this is great what you said, Tamara. I gotta like, I need to say those exact words to him. Yeah, I'm getting emotional because it's like
I'm right.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, because you just thinking about all of the struggles and the things that he may have to grow up into, and I can't shelter him or shield him from it all, though I want to. And maybe I need to talk to Dr. Renee, because listen, if you raised four whole men, um, I need that wisdom. But it's just just thinking about what could potentially come his way. It kind of sometimes brings fear, but I know that I have a heavenly Father who I can trust. And I entrust my children to him on a regular basis. And so, and I think this is an encouragement to other mothers out there raising young boys. Just you got to trust Jesus and entrust your children to him, and know that God has them. So that's all I got.
Add one more quick thing. I knew a young lady who was married into a black family, and so of course now her young child that they were going to have was going to be part black. She found out it was a girl, but it was in the middle of a lot of racial unrest and things that were happening even during the pandemic, things that were brought to um, her view that she hadn't seen before, just like many people, right? And she felt bad that she felt like, man, I'm so glad that I'm not having a boy. And she's like, I hope that's taken right. 'Cause she didn't mean it wrong. You know what I mean? She just meant it like, man, I didn't know. And I wasn't offended when she said it, because I was just like, you know what? Now you know how we feel, how we felt, like, I'm sorry to have to welcome you to this club of sisters and daughters and wives of people who are just like, man, yes, it's different raising a young black boy or loving a young black boy or man. And so I love that even you aren't afraid to show your tears, because I think maybe that might encourage other people who are maybe even just experiencing coming into this world for the first time, that it's okay to feel that way. and there's still hope, and you can still have strength to raise, you know, these boys and love these young Black men. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump into. I think. I mean, when I think about my brothers, because I don't have children yet, but when I think about my brothers are different. None of them are athletes. They tried to be very unsuccessful with that, but they my brothers are very creative. They like to paint, they like to write poetry. One of my brothers, he was into acting. So these were things that weren't, they're not as common, and some people will kind of judge because they're so different, you know. So I can definitely hear what you guys are saying, and I guess my prayer for Black men, I think about the vulnerability. Um, as my husband was saying about my father, I was raised in a household. I have four brothers, and I was raised with a dad. And my father constantly showed them affection, gave them hugs, kiss on the cheek, um, constantly showed them love. And I've seen my father cry. And some people can't even say that. They'll say, oh, well, I've never, that's not common. I didn't see that growing up. Or I've seen my father cry. I've seen my father be vulnerable. I've heard my father and my brothers express feelings. And it's something that is a prayer because keeping all of that stuff bottled inside is not going to help. And I wish and I pray that Black men will understand that it's not soft, it's not weak, it's not corny, as people would say, to be vulnerable and to show that you have feelings and you have emotions just like anybody else. Um, I think in society it's always looked at as, oh, he always crying. Sometimes women, to be honest, sometimes we can be, I ain't crying. And it's like, no, that's the way he feels. That's the way he expresses it. It's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. It's nothing wrong with showing another side of yourself. That's not just, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna fix this and I'm gonna fix that. Sometimes it's okay. So I just pray that Black men will understand that it's nothing wrong, despite what you heard and what you've been taught. It's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. It's nothing wrong with expressing how you feel. It's nothing wrong with talking to another brother and having a close relationship and having a good friendship. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's definitely a prayer of mine. And I guess because growing up, I've seen it, I know it can be done. I know that this is something that's possible. So that's my prayer.
Krista, I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. So I wanted to say hello. You are all blessing me. I can't even express how much, but I want to throw a little bit of a curveball. I think that we have prayed enough, that it's time to act on those prayers. So for me, I think the prayers are awesome. I think they should never stop. But I think that at this point that we need to be the answer to those prayers. And that I'm married to my husband. We've been married 10 years in October. And he didn't understand how to do a lot of things as a man because his father just didn't have that, the words to say, I would say. My husband's Jamaican. And so it took I love to talk. I'm a prophet. I preach constantly. And so talking I get paid to talk. So I've taught him how to express himself, to love on himself, to find self-care. Self-care is so difficult for him. He doesn't know how to do it. It's not automatic in his body. And so I've given him words to put into action. Like, this is how I take care of myself. This is how I love myself. This is how I can look for these things in another person, another brother, to be able to shape me and love me. And so while you were all sharing, it really encouraged me because I didn't realize that God had specifically called me to men. So I'm a pastor in the Army, and most of my soldiers are men. And it just never clicked because as a woman, I'm thinking I'm called to women because I'm a woman. And God said to me while you guys were all talking, I've called you to change and facilitate and to empower men. And I was like, wow, that really hit me hard while you guys were talking. I had to stop myself from crying because I think we forget how powerful we are in God. And so when we realize how powerful we are, women, we can do so much of an effective change in our men because they're constantly getting tore down outside the house. But once they come in the house, who's building them up? Who's that safe place? Who's that person that's telling them you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you? And so the way we carry ourselves, the way we love ourselves, the way we make sure that we are filled, it is going to give them 10 times the amount of like ammunition to do what God has called them to do. So I am just so grateful for all of you continuously praying, because that's going to also do so much in the body of Christ and outside of it, because we're also called to the people that are not in the body, right? But at the end of the day, that we need to be that answered prayer, because if we're not, what are we doing? We need to walk that out, right? Faith without works is dead. So let's be alive. Let's be the sons of God that God has called us to, because the earth is groaning. So let's do the work of what God has called us to. And then, I mean, those prayers are going to be manifested. There's nothing that the world can do. We won't have to be insecure. We won't have to be defeated. We won't have to be depressed. We won't have to be committing suicide, because we will be walking in our purpose, and then we'll be helping others do the same. It's a chain reaction. It's going to be a revival in a way that Black people have never seen before if we do our part. So I encourage you, please do what God has called you to do.
That's good. So good.
He's gonna punch the people in the face. That's what he's gonna come
That's
on.
what
You
I
gonna
do.
come
I'm
on
sorry.
and he's gonna punch people. That's what you're gonna do. I'm sick and I'm tired of you people of God. No, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. Yo, take over, Trisha, because I'm sorry. That was
Well, I know that Dr. Shannon has to leave, but I wanted to make sure that we asked you this question before you left. Um, what was your favorite part of the song in light of all of this?
and you can't say Nikki. I'm just that's her pastor, y'all, if y'all didn't realize.
That's my pastor.
That's her, yes. One of
Man.
my virtual pastors.
Yes. She's a good virtual member too.
Yes.
Man, that's a challenging question, especially after all this conversation. I think the I won't say it's my absolute favorite, because then I'm going to get off of here and think, no, but it was this. So I'll say one of was just the lightness. It almost, the song felt like, I'm a big believer in stories and how stories kind of circumvent people's kind of rational and get to the heart, and then you can kind of walk them up to the rational, especially for the sake of persuasion, right? Which is often what music is about. But there's almost like this lightness in like this as you're listening to the song, it feels so natural, and like this is what we do every day, right? Like we're just letting y'all peek in on what takes place in our house on a daily. And I love that it didn't feel like it was like we're going to labor hard to demonstrate our love for Black men. It was just like, this is what we do, and y'all need to get down with this. Yes, because they're dope. I love that. I love that. One of the things that I do, in addition to being a pastor, I'm a strategy consultant, and I work with a lot of organizations around equity. And we talk a lot about how, our personal experiences and, representation in media shapes or forms the basis for our implicit bias, right? So I want to hear that song on the radio, because I want folks to be driving and bopping and realize like, oh snap, they talking about Black men, right? Right, like that lightness and that sense of this is just so natural for us to do. We're not doing something strange. We're not doing something, abnormal. But like this is what happens at home on any given Sunday afternoon. This is just what it is. I love that about it, and I love Nikki Rochelle.
Hilarious.
And I do too, and we do too. Man. And it's one of the reasons that I think that's where my like faith took a turn, was when I joined a church that literally was unapologetic about being, you know, fully black and fully Christian at the same time. Not being ashamed. I mean, I you know, all day. You feel me? But like Christia said, like, you know, Christ, Christian being first, Christ being the ultimate identity. And but with that, no part of me is separated. No part of me is disintegrated. No part of me is, you know, compartmentalized. And so yes, Doc, I thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Listen, it's gonna be a part two because this conversation has to continue. Absolutely, my whole self. Yeah, it this conversation has to continue. It's an ongoing conversation. We're probably gonna do a remix. We're probably gonna, you know, do more things that uh tack on to this conversation because it was natural. It was, we didn't, I mean, I think I'm the only one that took forever to write, you know, but I just write a lot. So that's why. But but yeah, like it was just such a meaty thing. It's almost like we could have wrote two more songs, really, just based on this one topic. So we thank you. We appreciate you. I don't want to hold up your time anymore. I thank you for being here, and please look out because we're gonna want you back again for another conversation.
I'll be looking. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
God bless you.
Love you, Pastor.
Love you, sweetie.
Love him. That's my pastor.
That's her past. So I'm gonna throw the ball to Dr. Renee, keeping in the spirit of, you know, of the docs. Um, yeah, what part of the song? I mean, you may have listened to the song once, hopefully twice, hopefully it's on repeat. But even if it's not, you know what? I know it's pretty catchy. So, you know, what part of the song really stuck out to you and that you kind of liked?
Yeah, I listened to it like 3 times.
Yeah,
Trying to, first time, of course, just hearing it, but I need to listen to it a couple of times to get the context of it, you know.
for sure, for
I
sure.
want to make sure before I start just enjoying it that I understood the assignment for this evening.
Yeah.
But my favorite, oh, it's so many. I had quite a few. But my favorite part, honestly, is when you, I don't know who was saying it, but they made a statement that says that you're not your struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that
Yeah.
phrase because
Yeah.
once again,
Oh wait, no.
it speaks to the existing culture, you know, that tries to, you know, stigmatize our men to believe that they are the struggle, but they're not. And so that really stood out to me. And of course, I like the little part. I couldn't catch all the descriptors, you know, but I love that little vamp in there. That was just, I was vibing to that real good, you know, because I like words. So, but yeah, you're not the struggle. That was so powerful, such a powerful statement because, like I said, it speaks to the culture, and that's something that our men definitely need to be encouraged with. Like, you are not the struggle. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Men, chime in, because this is for you guys. I know it's a lot of ladies in here as usual, but chime in. Daryl's a rapper. I think Cello, you a rapper too, right, bro?
Not really anymore. Like I kind of transitioned,
Transition.
yeah,
Okay.
from music because actually like we have a media company now called Set Apart Expressions. So basically, it's a
Right.
multimedia company to represent the expressions of Christians,
Right.
no matter where they are, you know, whatever they do, that everything that they do is to glorify the Lord. So we made that transition. But as far as the song, I always love a song that can connect to God.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we got to hear that every day.
Okay.
We got to hear about who we are every day and our purpose every day. Just as it took all these years to make someone believe, make someone think that there's someone that they're not. It's going to take every day for us as men to know who we are. We got to listen to it every day. That's why it's so important to always constantly read the word of God every, you know, because we got to constantly be reminded every single day, nonstop, till the day we die. You know, so that when you guys connected it to God, Any song that can connect what you're saying can connect with God's will, with God's word, I always love it. So I thank y'all for connecting it to God, because honestly, we need God every day, and we got to be reminded every day of who we are in God. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, bro. Big brother Grant, you've been quiet for a minute. I know it's so many people.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to let everybody else get to shine. I
Yes, sir.
like
Yes, sir. I feel you.
a pastor myself, so I talk for a living. So sometimes I just want to be quiet and listen. But overall, I got several things. So I won't be too long. I promise. I would say, as one of the theologians on the panel, I would say that I love the traces of biblical theology within the song. I believe, I don't know who rapped the part, but I think it believed with, your God's creation, no discrimination, no hesitation. I believe it was that whole part. So I love the fact that I saw, the story, the unfolding narrative of scripture was embedded in the song. Um, I also just appreciate how I think we all tired of the assaults on black and brown life. And I was just so encouraged to hear a song that expressed the beauty and the value of black and brown men. That you know, we're tired of seeing black and brown bodies laying on the pavement. And I just think that, resonated with me. And to just throw a bit of a curveball, um, for black men, we haven't done the best job of celebrating black and brown women. And to hear a song from black and brown women directed to us when we have oftentimes failed to celebrate you was extremely profound. And that just, like, I'm not gonna cry, but it's just, it was
Cry,
so
bro.
beautiful
Cry.
for me. It was so beautiful for me because we have to do better in that regard. And it's like we're supposed to be doing that for you all. And it's just, you flipped the script and appreciated us and encouraged us so that we can reciprocate that same love and encouragement. I mean, and London, I love you. I told you got the juice, and all y'all on the song got the juice, but it was just a beautiful song that I really enjoyed. And I don't know, I could keep on going, but I'm just gonna be quiet. And I just appreciate that you all just celebrated us in a beautiful way, in a poetic way, and it's gonna be on repeat for a while for me.
Yes.
So, all right. So look, I have a couple things. Some of them are technical. Actually, most of them are technical because I'm an artist. But one, I like the fact that the song was long. Like, it's not typical for people to put out a first single and it's over 6 minutes long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do stuff like that, but because I don't care about radio singles, you know what I'm saying? So it was dope to hear that. Like, oh snap, she going for a long one. Okay, they got six. What is it? Almost 7 minutes long. Okay, I see it. So I appreciate that. I like the way the beat was really dope, but the way it like the way it changed, like it switched up back and forth on it. That was really dope too. Um, the singing was great, but I can't front up a little favoritism because London's our friend, our homie. So like I was just really proud of her because especially like when her voice switched up, like I was just like, yo, she has a voice that was meant for rap music.
Mm.
So I'm really proud of her.
It was
But
the switch up for me. It just took me aback.
yeah, so but I think the joint's just dope. So but those are some of my favorite things, as the jazz singer once said.
Yeah, we got to give it up, man. Coming from you, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
not
I'm
gonna
trying to
cry.
I'm trying to figure out why y'all didn't tell me I was gonna be on here with Stephen the Levite. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh no, you
Like,
listen, and
hold on, this
I have failed miserably because I did not let any of y'all introduce yourself. And so we're gonna go backwards and introduce ourselves at the end and tell people how to follow at the end. Whoever can stay, please do, because this conversation is so necessary. But I feel like we're probably gonna have a part two. Give me a chance to redeem myself, and give this song a proper, you know what I mean? Because we're really learning as we go, right? We're learning as we go. We have all been creative, but not on the back end. So we're learning the other stuff. But two things. What Grant said about the men not always celebrating us, I didn't even think about that. But that hit me like a ton of bricks when you said it, because I was actually going through a season of bitterness with Black men because I felt like all I was seeing was interracial couples, right? And I know my brother is, biracial as well. But I was struggling because I was like, it seems like that's all I'm seeing. That was that season of life, right? And I was just like, I mean, what's going on? I mean, is brown not cool anymore, right? Is melanin not sexy anymore? What's going on? And people can love who they love, and I have no issues with that. But I think I was going through a personal season of bitterness and struggling with that. And I'm sitting over here like, and all I want is a Black man, and all I want is a brown man. And and so, I finally got to a place where the Lord, started healing that part of me. But what you were saying was so impactful, because I'm just like, it's true. We're not celebrated enough. I feel like I've been on an intentional um music dive, like trying to search for songs that celebrate Black people. But if you look at it, the the percentage is way bigger for songs about Black men than there are for Black women. I think we're doing it amongst ourselves. We're celebrating our own selves, but hearing it coming from a man. So y'all encourage our brothers that y'all know, these rappers, whoever, singers, whoever, that hey, we need some encouragement too. I mean, we are, it's been said historically that we're on the bottom of the totem pole, Black women, right? It's, y'all already know the story, but it is it means something different coming from a man. And it means something different, especially coming from a man that I'm not dating, I'm not having sex with, I'm not married to. It means something for me to hear that from my brother, right? So I wanted to touch on that, and then I wanted to give it up for my sister. Where's she at? I don't see her. It's too many screens. Where's she at? Where's Christy at? I think everybody's taking care of the. Where's she at? I don't see her. Oh, I see you. Okay. I see you. So, yo, give it up, you guys, for the production. All right. Because somebody was like, no, two or three people was like, yo, who produced it? Who mixed it? It's pretty good. It's actually really dope. I'm like, yeah, the same young lady that was singing in the beginning is the producer. Not just a beat maker, not just, playing around on no, professional producer. Yes, yes, lift your hands, because we give God glory. We give God, because
Baseline
we
though.
all are like birthing
Yeah.
together. We're all like
That's my
birthing
bestie. I'm just
out.
saying.
That's her bestie. And I'm her second bestie or her third bestie, whatever it is. But I'm a music bestie, whatever. But I'm proud of you, sis, because we kind of like started right after each other. Like but you've been doing music. Nikki has been doing music the longest, I think, professionally, I'll say. Christia has been doing music the second longest. I am the baby of the group. So, again, to hear Daryl say what he's saying about my rap voice, like, you saw me struggle at the songwriting camp. You saw me sweat, practically cry, because I was like, fam, all the eyes are on me. And I don't know what to do with that, because I'm not used to that.
And you
And I'm
killed it. And you killed it.
and we yes, amen. I'm learning how to receive, right? We talked about receiving love. Amen. I'm gonna just say amen, because I don't know what else to say. but I know that I have that kind of voice, but I didn't know that I had a voice for music. And I also was concerned, because I was like, I don't want to get sucked up into an industry. That was really my biggest thing, and still something I'm working out on the back end, is like, you know, being the light in the darkness, and also maintaining a high level of creativity without the influence of foolishness on the other side. And so for me, I'm just so grateful to be connected to women who first and foremost, and I don't care who called me deep or churchy or whatever it is, but being connected to the ultimate source is highly key. Because if you're not connected to people who are connected to what you're connected to, you'll be disconnected. That's bars. Nah, but for real, like I really think that it would not have been as good. I really don't think it would have been good. I don't We probably wouldn't even birth it. We probably wouldn't even put it out. If we weren't putting the Lord at the center, and really just like Dr. Shannon was saying, like there was just this lightheartedness about it. Like, no, that's just our heart. Like we're not going to force it, but it just felt urgent. Does that make sense? It felt urgent. It wasn't a force, but it was just like it has to be done. And so yeah, like and speaking of radio, Tamara, I want to jump to you real quick. Like, for you, you've heard, so Tamara is the CEO.
Yep, CEO
Go
and
ahead,
founder.
go ahead. Yeah, CEO, founder of Our Soul Radio, and we talked very briefly last night. This is a sort of a last minute jump in, and I appreciate you for being here. But
No problem.
it was big for me to hear you say you enjoyed it. Because you're coming from a whole different industry perspective. You're a believer as well, but you looking at it from the industry side too. And so tell them some of the things you were telling me last night about why do you like it, and why do you think other people might enjoy it.
I mean, first it was just great. I mean, in the beginning, you said something like, what did you say? You said, I'm still figuring out how to embrace my multifacetedness. And I just knew you were going to say my dopeness because there's so much of it. I was like, I told my husband, I was like, all of that, all of that's been sitting around, all of that. I still have no words out of all of the Christian female rappers that have come out. And it's like, you and Trish are blowing me away. All of these new voices popping up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my God, today. Really, really great. So, first of all, it just sounded great. I agree with Daryl. You have a natural sound for that vein. The music was great. I see everybody typing 90s vibe. I so agree.
Yeah.
So love it. And I think people are just still thirsty for that and right now. So the feel is nice. And I really loved the person who just said that it was a light feeling because it does have a really light, natural vibe. I think one of my favorite parts though is in the beginning where you just start talking to them directly. It's there's no ambiguity at all about what you're talking about or who you guys are talking about. Um, Nikki, your voice, my God. I mean, it's just so smooth. It's just so smooth. But I love there's no ambiguity in what you guys are talking about. You dive right in and say, we see you, we love you. And then you start to ask a question that I think almost forces them, if they listen to it enough, to get into a space of transparency where you ask them, did you know? And then you
Yeah.
go into reminding them all of the things that you need them to remember about themselves. So that right there, to do that in the beginning was just like, I see you, I love you. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Just in case you didn't know I was talking about you. Did you know? And it's coming from a woman and hearing everybody just talk about that from Grant to Krista. We're natural, just we're nurturing by nature. So I just think there is power in just the sounds, the softness of the vocals. um even you, like when the rap comes in, there's still just this nurturing in it, but it's not this here. There's so much to say, so I'll just stop there though, but I love
Yeah.
that. It's a
And
great
that
song.
and that was difficult for me. The Lord has really been gracious to heal me from so many things, just so many things. And that was hard for me. I'll just tell y'all. That was difficult for me to the second portion of the rap is naturally me. That's I'm gonna punch you. Like that's me. But the first part, to slow it down, calm it down, bring
Mm,
it to a level of, come here. Like I just had to like imagine myself in front of that one, you know, and that was like, I'm not a naturally soft individual. So that, you know, was something I had to tap into, and I really was grateful to the Lord, because I was like, I don't want them to feel preached to. I don't want them to feel beat up. I don't want them to feel anything negative or anything like triggering. I was just like, no, I need you to, because I want to speak to the king in you. I know y'all been hearing that a lot, right? I like, and it might not always come out in that soft, sexy, sweet way, or whatever, however you categorize it.
Because it was.
What's that?
Because it was.
I feel
The
like you're
soft,
doing a lot.
the
I
soft,
feel
and the
like
sexy. It was all of them. Yes.
I feel like
Absolutely.
I don't know how to. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking because I don't know what else to say. I yeah, it was difficult, and I told these two. I told Trisha and Nikki. I was like, listen, I am struggling because I'm a natural tomboy and all these things, and the Lord has just been shifting a lot of that, and I'm just like, man, this. Somebody said, who is that? That might have been you, Tamara. Talking about where's she at? Is she pop up? I don't see her. Oh, I do. Um, yeah, you were saying, you know, you never know what the Lord gonna do with this song. Your future husband might hear this song, and you know, you just never know, and he might
Might
feel.
be like, who
And
is that?
exactly,
Facts.
exactly. And I
Talking
thought that
about
was
Facts.
so funny, you know, because I was like, it takes that kind of intentionality to shift things around. And this is not only, it's not just a song, right? Like you hear people say that all the time. Oh, it's not just a song, it's a movement. But really, it really is this sort of, like, we prayed, like, God, make this a ripple effect. Like, make this have an impact beyond just our friends, right? Like, hopefully someone will hear it. I've been sending it to unbelievers too, like whether they believe in Christ or not. And I've been getting good feedback. It's crazy. It's amazing. People just, somebody said they feel honored. They feel you know, heard. They feel, of course, appreciated. You know, all of these things, and we hearing it from men from all different walks of life. So I am just like, man, God, you know, God is still doing his thing, and I'm gonna keep pushing this thing, man, because it's a beautiful conversation. Uh Trish, any more questions that you wanna? I think
I
we have
think
like one more.
I think
What do you
the
think?
last one was there any affirmations you would give to
Yeah.
another black man? Any affirmations?
Yeah, let's start with the men.
Yeah, first I just want to go back to even what Grant said about us not. Well, I'm not gonna say us because I show love to my wife. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
don't have no issue with that. I don't degrade my wife. And so I'm gonna just say for anyone, any man that may struggle with that, we also gotta realize that hip hop culture taught us that, taught to degrade woman,
Mhm.
not just the black woman, but woman, period. And that's
Right.
the honest truth. Maybe not all men in the hip hop culture, but a majority of songs that came out, a lot of them were degrading women, calling them bees, calling them hoes,
Mhm.
all types of stuff. And that one woman is not enough.
Mm.
You need
Yeah.
multiple women. When
Mhm.
I came up, you know, growing up, I listened to a lot of rap music, a lot of hip hop music. I grew up in the hip hop culture, and there was a lot that I learned from it that wasn't good. And the only reason, one of the biggest reasons why I did not like the gray woman was because my dad, because I seen how he loved my mother and how he took care of my mother, and that's how I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? So that made an impact, big impact on my life. But there were times where I did have thoughts: Is woman enough? Should I be cheating? Should I have a side chick?
Mhm.
But I had to fight against those thoughts, and even before I gave my life to Christ, you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Even when I tried, it just wasn't comfortable for me. You know, I seen my cousin, a cousin of mine. It was easy for him. It was easy for him to have multiple women. It was easy for him to, even when he got married, it carried over that it destroyed his marriage. Now he's divorced. You know, so these things make a big impact when it comes to learning a lot that men can learn from the hip hop culture. That just as we were saying earlier, listen, you ain't gotta follow those rules. You ain't got to be like that. Even if you feel like the outsider, so what? If it's more important for you to look different, sound different, walk different to make an impact, so be it. If they laugh at you, so be it. Because at the end of the day, we got to please God first and foremost. So there's some things that we gotta break out of, certain mentalities that we've gotten from the hip hop culture, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you break out of those mentalities, help another brother and encourage him. Listen, you ain't gotta be like that. You don't gotta have multiple women. You ain't gotta
Right.
call her B. You ain't gotta call her that. Show her love. You know what I'm saying? Even if she's not your wife, show her respect. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Watch how you talk to her. Because we still see it have an effect. Even us living in Jersey City, the ministry that we're part of is in the middle of the hood, and you still see it, men degrading women. You still see it, and we just got to be honest too, as men. There's some things that we got to get out of us that we picked up from the culture or from our neighborhoods, from our communities, that ain't right, and we got to break out of that, and it's going to take one day at a time. One day at a time, break out of those mentalities and make that difference. And then I really believe that little by little, they're gonna be men jumping on board with that, because they're seeing other men do it, and they're gonna respect that. And they're gonna be like, that's what I want to be a part of. Sometimes it's because they don't see it.
Yeah.
So they don't know where to go. So in order, man, I don't see it, so it's like this is what it is. But it's like they got to start seeing other men do it. So when you feel the burden to do it, no matter how you get looked at, laughed at, so what? So what? Be different. So what? Make a difference. So I'm learning a lot myself. Like I said, I appreciate first and foremost that Chrissy did the producing, which is a woman, a black woman. God bless you on that. The singing, the rapping, all done by women.
Yep.
God bless you on that. And then it was about encouraging black men. God bless you on that. Really appreciate that. I want to tell you from a man, I appreciate that. We need more of that, but then at the same time, we got to give it too as men. But it is going to take us unlearning things that we learn from even in our own communities, even amongst our own peers, that causes, hindrance on our growth, So God bless you on that.
Thank you, brother. Grant, D.
Go ahead, D.
um, I think I have more of a confession actually than an affirmation. I think affirmations are not my default. I think my default is what's the word I'm looking for? Imperatives. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I don't know if it's because of how I was raised or because of the music I do or whatever, or just because I'm a dude and dudes don't normally do affirmations. But my default is to tell dudes what they should do, not to tell dudes like you're a man, you're strong, you're this, you're that. Like that's not like dudes aren't taught to do that. So even you asking, I was like, affirmations. What am I supposed to say? Like I have very little or nothing to say in that regard. Whatever I would say from this point on would be freestyle. It wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I like to tell myself such and such. Like I that's like so basically all I'm saying is I appreciate you asking because you have me thinking now. Like what kind of affirmations should I be telling myself? Should I be telling my kids, other brothers? You know what I'm saying? Like what does the word of God have to say about us? What narratives should I be bucking against with those truths? And how can I be more intentional about making sure that those things are on my forefront so that if I'm asked something like this, or if it's necessary, I have something at the forefront of my mind to tell cats like, yo, you need to know, like, you're loved, you're appreciated, you are, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I just appreciate the challenge.
I would say that, you know, we don't have to prove our humanity to anyone. Um, like, Stephen said, we don't have to, what God has already declared about us is what is true, what is fact. So I think we don't, because we find ourselves having to prove our humanity, proving ourselves theologically, proving ourselves intellectually. And my encouragement is just to say we do not have to do that. We don't have to be pigeonholed to feel like we have to prove ourselves to anyone, because we don't. And I would also add, just because this is a cultural thing, is that I would just say to a lot of black and brown men that, you know, Comedicism, Hebrew Israelism, Nation of Islam pale in comparison to the identity that Jesus gives you. And so I think we know the crisis that we are under in our communities. And that's my affirmation, that we don't have to look to outside cults or outside things that affirm our identity. Jesus is already doing that to the full. From the moment we were shaped in our mother's womb, God declared something about us, and He continues to declare that about us. And so, that's just my encouragement, my affirmation to all of us, for us to remember that. And again, I just appreciate y'all giving us the opportunity to speak on this, and just appreciate all my sisters, all the beautiful and wonderful things you said about us as men. I feel uplifted. I have a wife and two daughters, and y'all just made me want to love them even more, and just, lay down my life for them, and also just lay down my life for my other sisters of color, and to see their lives flourish for the sake of God's glory and really all of our good. So that's how I've been. I'm affirmed, brothers, but also I'm affirmed myself today.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Man, y'all are beautiful. I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. My natural inclination is to take over, but I want to what was I gonna say? Let me look at this last. Okay, so popcorn, guys. Last question, literally the last question. Um, what black man would you want to hear this song? And or what celebrity would you want to hear it? Like, what celebrity would you play it for? Just like a fun question. Anybody? Y'all need a minute? Okay. Yo, yeah, I'm thinking about I would love, how do I, why isn't it letting me?
I think we lost Linda. Oh, there she is.
It's
Linda, you back?
frozen though. It's frozen.
Yeah, that's right. It'll come back.
It's frozen. Okay, but y'all can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All,
Um Chad
somebody
said
said
all
all
on. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those songs where I think everybody could benefit from it. But I'm sure, one particular person comes to mind like, dang, like this would have been dope if this person could hear it. Even if it's your nephew, even if it's your father, even if it's
I
your
I feel
boyfriend.
like Lil Uzi Vert needs to hear it.
Okay.
The baby. Just
No.
a lot of those, like the
Yeah.
mainstream rappers who
Yeah.
don't know how to respect other women or themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they just need to maybe, because they didn't get affirmation or any kind of encouragement growing up. So I
Yeah.
don't know. This is just off
No,
the dome. I
it's
just feel
funny,
like,
but it's not funny. Like it's like,
yeah.
no, they really need. And it's weird, right? Like I wish we had more time because I really want to like dive. I wanted to ask the rappers like, what did y'all really think of the bars? Let's go deep, with the lyrical breakdown. But part 2, part 3, part 4. But you know, people really like to pigeonhole you as a positive, inspirational, whatever. I'm okay with it because I'm like, I'd much rather be called that than anything else. You know what I mean? Like I love being able to put love and light and more importantly, Jesus into whatever space I'm in. So I don't particularly run away from it, but I'm just like, man, like, why is that corny? Like, why is that like, why do I want to hear about somebody getting shot? Why do I want to look at, you know, fake breasts and, fake lips? And I just like, and it's weird because I was raised in a Christian home, but even outside of that, even in my flesh, I'm just not attracted to the foolishness. Like, I'm just like, but can we love on each other though? But can we, can we lift? Can we build? Can we encourage? Like, and I look at it now, this generation, man, like just thinking about the level of emo, like depressing, pill popping, oh my gosh, like suicidal, demonic, and I'm not just saying demonic for throwing it out there, like quite literally demonic, like summoning demons, all this type of, and I'm just like, who raised y'all? Like what, like in what world is that cool? Like, what I'm saying? I remember being attracted to music that was really feely when I was younger. Like, and I'm not talking about romance. I'm talking about like, you know, I don't know, melancholy style. But never would I listen to somebody telling me to pop pills or, drink myself to death or whatever like that. So I'm just kind of like, I don't get it, but yeah, y'all popcorn in. What celebrity or family friend person that you think is cool or dope or whatever would y'all want to hear the song? This may push us to go send it to him. I don't know. Like, you don't gotta think too hard, guys. There's no wrong answers.
I'll think out loud because I
Yeah,
can't
go
think.
for it.
I agree with the person.
Who do you need to hear? Like, this person should hear this.
I think the person in
That
the
little
comments
Bert.
said all of them.
Yeah,
It
facts.
was right. I would agree with that. But in trying to pick one, I was thinking about it, and a couple of the people that came to mind. This artist I won't name, but I know that there was a Christian artist who was
Name
more
him,
of
girl.
like
Just
direct
kidding.
African descent, and I think he's past it now, and that's why I'm not going to mention his name. But I think he even spoke about how there was a time, him growing up in predominantly white communities, being directly from Africa, and I think first generation here, um, his beautiful black skin, his hair, everything just being so different, but just making him stand out. And he, I think, was still learning how to really embrace his culture, even as much as African Americans had already done. And sometimes we're still struggling to, accept ourselves for who we are. But he himself had a challenge with that, and it took him a minute to get there. And to even just start to let it show in everything he created, even as an artist. So in thinking about him, it made me think about others like him in those type of communities. But then it makes me think about people who maybe aren't in predominantly white communities, but just in America, period. Because it almost doesn't matter what neighborhood you grow up in, it's still a similar thing where you just feel like an other, and you really just need something to remind you that you're valuable. So all of them. All of them.
All on.
I just want
I
to
feel
comment
you.
real
Thank
quick.
you. Go for it.
So I think that God like specifically puts us in areas so that we could influence them. And so I played tennis in college and in high school. And so the only black tennis player I really saw on television was James Blake. And I was just like, I would constantly be like, dude, I don't know how you do it. You're the only one out there. Like, how? Like, how do you keep it? How do you stay encouraged? Like, how do you keep doing what you're doing? So he's 41 now. He's retired, but he was one of the first people I thought of. Like, because if he had known just how loved he was and how it wasn't just about his color, but his color made him even more beautiful. like how much harder would he have gone? How many more people would have
Yeah,
been supportive of him? And
exactly.
he would have had the same type of stage that like basketball players have now that are really big. Like, and tennis is not really known to a lot of, you know, Black and brown people. So I just think it would have been awesome to see him at his prime listening to this song. Like, I think that that would have been absolutely powerful. So that's my person.
James Blake. Okay. Anybody
Michael
else?
Jackson. That's all. Michael Jackson.
Michael
Since we're talking about
Jackson.
people that they could have
Ooh,
heard in
Michael
their prime
Jackson. Yeah,
before,
say that again. Say that again.
yeah, if we were to go back, she just, I didn't know we were talking about people who aren't here or whose careers are done. But if we're doing that, Michael Jackson in his prime or even before then, before he changed the nose, and everything
Yeah.
else, just the
Hmm.
value. Like, what else would we have gotten from Mike if he heard this song?
Man, that's
Mm,
good. Grant, you
mm-mm.
you you got you got something on your tongue. You
No, that made I was like, woo, that was right. That's a
yeah,
good one, right?
that is a good one. That is a good one. Somebody said in the comments, Toby. I mean, he kind of he gets it. He gets it.
He gets it.
Yeah,
He gets it.
yeah,
But maybe that's why he needs to hear it. You know, maybe that's why he needs to
yeah,
hear it.
absolutely.
Hear that. Oh, you need a what? Girl, I'm on live. So. Yeah. 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 Anybody else?
Yeah,
We
I,
would
I actually have a cousin who's in jail. He just got locked up um in March of last year. Um and this is a song, if he I don't know how long he's going to be in there. But this is a song I would want him to hear when he would get out, because dealing with all
Mm.
the things that you have to deal with, the limitations and the regrets, um, that you could start all over again. You're forgiven. You made a mistake, but you're still loved. So this is the type of song I would want my cousin to hear. I don't think I could send it to him, but yeah, definitely, he was definitely an inspiration when I was penning this song.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely those are online that are online a lot, and that any men, black men, brown men that's struggling with identity,
Mm.
definitely those that this just hits them, that it gets to where they are online, because we know a lot of young, I mean, we all online, honestly. Like, if you look at the statistics, even though the oldest saints, or the seasoned saints are online too. They're on Facebook. So, whoever's online that struggle with this, that needs
Hmm.
to hear this, I say them, that this
Hmm.
reaches wherever they are: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever they are, email, that this
Yeah.
gets to those that are in need to hear this right now.
Yeah. Someone used the word timeless when I was sending the song to different people. Somebody was like, even though it has that 90s vibe, like it's sort of beginning to transcend. Like I could see my kid listening to this, and I could also let my grandparent listen to this as well. It's almost, I mean, and that again, back to our intention in prayer, right? I'm like, God, let it hit generations, let it,
Yes.
everybody, because it's so necessary. And I so many of the songs that I found on the playlist that I created, that we did not get to hear tonight, but I will share. You know, profanity, of course, and it's just not rooted in, in like what Grant was saying earlier, rooted in Christ, or I mean, let alone biblical doctrine, right? I mean, that's a whole other thing. But like even in the Christian hip hop space, like there are very few songs, and I'm just like, how come? Like I wonder why. When I was talking to somebody recently and just talking about how the Black church had been the pillar of the community, and had been and I think still is to some degree, been the pillar even with social justice and things like that. And we have sort of moved out of position, and I think a lot of people are moving us back into position, a lot of the ministry leaders, but um there's more to come. There's more to come. I'm going to be encouraging. I mean, people like I was going to play it for you guys, but we ran out of time. There's a young lady named Lish Speaks that did a song called Black Don't Crack. Shy Speaks is another one. They're not related. And she did King. What's it called, Trish? You know that song?
I
Shoot.
think it is called King with
Yeah,
D1.
with D1, yeah, King. Like I'm telling you guys, it's only a handful. A Clesso, and even much smaller of a space with women, talking about it. And I'm just like, it's time out, guys, for entertainment, or I mean, let alone church as usual, right? But like entertainment alone without edification. And I think that's where people like this sisterhood come in, because we want to educate, we want to edify, and we also do want to entertain. And so, yeah, I'm gonna ask that
I would,
everybody. What's
can
up?
I add
Yes,
to
sir.
that? I want to
Please.
I would say, like, in the hood, we've been doing a enrichment program here in Kinston, North Carolina. But um, I had a young boy one time look at me and say, why don't people like us?
Mm,
And so I would
jeez.
love for him, others to hear this song,
Mm-hmm.
because there are people out here that do like you, and do
That.
see
Yes.
you and know you and do love you. And I would even piggyback on what you said about not a lot of Christian rappers really just celebrating black culture. Thistle actually talked about this with Ruslan a few weeks ago and said
Yeah.
that's why he
Powerful
told
conversation.
that's why he told Toby not to go the Christian rap route. He told Toby to bring, cause so he could celebrate black culture the way he wanted to. And so that's
Wow.
a whole nother conversation. But I
That is a
Oh,
whole nother
part
conversation.
500, because listen, I'm telling y'all, I was struggling personally. I don't Anybody that knows me know I rep Christ, period. Like wherever I go, like
Period.
however I move, whoever I talk to, like it's never gonna be a quiet or a scary or intimidating conversation for me. Um,
Nope.
who said nope? That's funny. I nope. Krista C. Yeah. But yeah, like, with this song though, I did tell the ladies, I was like, y'all, I wanna pull back on the label, because the Christian label, only because when you're talking about marketing and you're talking about promotion and you're talking about industry, it does not mean that God can't transcend that, or God can't do whatever he's going to do. But there is something called wisdom and strategy. And people like Toby, people like D1, people like who else didn't go that route, didn't go the CH route, that got kind of popular. I don't know who right now. But there's a few people, a few case studies, if you will, that they have been able to reach so many more people just because they didn't use the label. Now, I think my approach is different anyway. Well, D1, he talks about God a little bit more explicitly than Toby does, but like, you know, I'm never gonna not talk about Jesus. Me, talking about me. Um, I don't feel like it's uncool. I don't feel like it's corny, whack, any of that. I'm just like, no, like Christ makes it better. But I also know
Yeah.
that we're in a real world. We're in a, natural fleshly space where we have to, move in a certain kind of way. And, I told the girls, I was like, yeah, I really want to be honest about the feel of the song, right? It is edifying, and I think it is ministry in and of itself. But the feel of the song is soulful, right?
Yes,
It's
it is.
soulful. And so you can't look under Christian. You won't see this on CCM charts. You won't see this on, but like Daryl said, that's not really my goal personally. I don't care to be at Winterfest or whatever. Now, praise God if I do still go, but like it has the potential to go so much further when we go into the world as not being of the world, not being of the world, but being in it. And so, Yeah, I'm like, y'all keep praying for me. I'm the baby of the group with the music. Y'all pray for me that the Lord will continue to order my steps creatively, and I will just, hear his voice. Like, I really do want to please him. But I know that the enemy is so strategic, so we got to be that much more strategic with, some of the plans and plots and schemes that he got going on. So yes, I am excited. Thank you guys so much again. Tamara, Krista, Grant, Cello, and Rachel. Um, I need some last words from my girls, Nikki and Christia. Nikki, I haven't heard from you in a while. I know you've been
Oh,
handling family. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any final words as we wrap it up? I know
well,
there's a lot. There was a lot.
there's a lot. So, but I will say, I do. I'm grateful that we were able to have this space, that we're able to begin to strike more conversation. I know there are conversations that are happening, like we know that, but
Yeah.
to to do it in our community, to do it in our way, yeah, I think that like Krista said earlier, I think it really is a time to act and to find ways to insert ourselves in what is happening, to rewrite the narrative. And so I'm grateful to be able to be a part of that. And I don't think it's just about the three of us, as the artists. I do think that we just need to figure out ways. And like so many years have like for centuries we've been so um, been masterful at being like working through ingenuity and creating pathways where there wasn't a path. And so I really am looking forward to seeing how this song, but also these conversations can map out new spaces, new territory, and really just begin to like drive in, not just about again the next song, but like even this conversation. Like I'm excited. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. There was a lot to be said. There was so many.
There's a lot.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody did ask in the comments. Someone said, "Is there going to be a Chocolate Bloom EP?" I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know yet. There
But
will be more coming from these three sisters, though.
for sure,
Together,
For
collectively.
sure.
Yes.
absolutely, positively.
Absolutely.
I am super.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tonight was great. Thank you to everyone on the panel who has
Yes.
shared so willingly, so graciously,
So
so
graciously.
limitlessly. Thank you for the nuggets, the wisdom, just the different perspectives that maybe we haven't considered before now, or that just help us to kind of open up and hear things a little differently. It really, really makes a difference. The men, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Because while it was said earlier that we're not praised enough, I think that that can be said on both ends, right? You hear my little lady over here, forgive her. I think that it could be said on both ends. Like, we really just need to work better at affirming one another, about pausing and praising. I think it's biblical.
Y'all see who wrote my bars, right?
Nope, not going there. But I do think that there is so much to be said about those moments, like when we can take time to reflect, when we can stop being so busy doing the next thing, whether it's about building our careers or familying our families, that we would choose to take time and say, "Yo, I appreciate what we have here. I know it didn't have to look like this, right? You don't have to wait until Father's Day. You don't have to wait until birthdays. And please, please, let's do a better job of figuring out. And it doesn't always have to be the dime that we're spending in order to celebrate. I think a lot of times it's not.
Mhm.
And so finding out what the pulse is for our men, not just husbands, brothers, fathers. I thought it was
Mhm.
so big earlier hearing my pastor talk about choosing to tap into how her father loves her, because
Yes.
otherwise
Yeah.
missing it, right? I think that that's important. Like sometimes the way we love each other, I think that's why there's a lot of friction a lot of times, because we're loving somebody based on how we want to be loved versus so
Mm-hmm.
there's just a continual need for communication, not the conversation itself, because we know what's happening, but we do need to get to know the people that are impacted
Mm-hmm.
by what's happening, and so that we can do the things that they need us to do, and show up in the way that they need us to show up. But I'm just happy everybody is here. It's been a long like chat and conversation, and you guys have labored with us. So thank you. Thank you so much to the panel. Thank you so much, Trisha and Daryl. Because y'all
Yes.
got your bambinos and you're here holding down the fort too.
Yes.
Everybody, all the family life that's happening still here while we're just sitting here plugged into this screen for the last
That
and
and
even with you, London, and everything that you have going on, we're definitely going to be lifting you up in prayer.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because while I
Mhm.
understand you were here on assignment, we don't want to take lightly like the fact that like you could have said, "Listen, I just need to cancel. I just need to cancel it." So
Right.
I celebrate all of this and all of y'all.
Oh
And
yes.
You see why it's important to do life with people like these.
Oh
You
yes.
see why it's important? Because people don't talk like that. People don't act like that. And this is me poking her in the eye in love. It's-
y'all see
but yeah,
what I do it.
Christina, give me some final words, and then I'm after you give final words, I'm gonna do it how we do it in church. After you give final words, we're gonna have everybody tell the viewers how they can be followed, what their brand is, things like that, how they can be followed, and how we can stay connected with them after Christia, and then we are wrapping up. That will be the benediction. Y'all can give y'all offering in the comments, and we will I'm just teasing. And we will wrap up there. Thank y'all again.
Yes, I will be brief. Oh, I don't like this echo. So I'm just talking to Mike. Y'all can hear me, right?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Man.
Mhm.
Okay. So thank you everybody for taking our time to be a part of this conversation that needs to be talked about. Thank you so much. Thank you to my sisters, London and Nikki Rochelle. You guys are amazing. I can't explain enough how beautiful it was to work with you guys. I mean, I would do so many, I mean, hundreds, millions of more projects with y'all. I mean, y'all are just amazing
Get it.
creatively and from a sister to sister standpoint. I mean,
Mhm.
and we're gonna display that musically as well.
That
The sister part. Um,
that
Also, I didn't shout out my hubby,
in the
the Chaz
comments.
Hawkins. I
Z,
always say that. I always say it like that. The Chaz
cause y'all
Hawkins. I
churchy.
love you, baby. He just had surgery, y'all, on his throat, his tonsils and things. So you could keep him in prayer. But I just want to say I love you and shout out to my baby girl Anais Hawkins. I love you. That is my first ministry. Amen. My family. Hallelujah. And now for the social media and things. Oh, do I go first with
No,
mine?
let the guests go first.
Okay, go
Whoever
ahead,
wants
guys.
to
Go
pop in,
first.
Tamara, Cello, Rachel, Krista, and Grant. Tell everybody what your ministry is, what your company is, how they can follow you, please. Because we neglected that at the beginning, so forgive me, y'all.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go first. Our social media handle is at Set Apart Expressions. That's not with the EX, it's just expressions with the X. So at Set Apart Expressions. And then we also have a website, setapartexpressions.com. Basically, we're building a multimedia company. We put no limits on God on what He could do with that. So far right now, we're doing email newsletters, we're doing blogs, we're doing, we're active on social media and everything that God wants us to do. you
And
know,
merch.
and we also have merch. We have like this hat that we have on and stuff like that, just to, for Christians to just be, rep their faith with merch. But we're putting no limits on God. It's a lot that we're learning at the same time as we're building. So just please keep us in prayer. But it's also to show that you don't just have to have a record label. You can also do these things where honestly a lot of Caucasians, white, Asians, they're all in this field and they're making good money. So it's like, why can't we be in this field?
Right.
And put no limits on what God could do with us, even though we get those thoughts that be like, nah. But it's like, nah, we going past that. They call it imposter syndrome. We ain't receiving imposter syndrome.
That's right.
We gonna keep looking beyond, even though at times we may not get it all right at once, but we're gonna keep growing and building. So that's at Set Apart Expressions and setapartexpressions.com. And also our condolences to you, London.
Yes.
We're praying for you and the family. Um, and
Thank you,
just
Dad.
want to at least let you know just our condolences and during our prayers. And thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of this.
Thank you.
We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. We know the importance of it. And thank you for everyone that has said something that has blessed us too, that has
Yes.
For real.
encouraged us to want to keep going and keep building to make a difference. So thank you, everyone. God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
And we're gonna connect, you guys. I'm gonna follow you guys, and we'll stay connected because
Yeah.
Jersey, you know what I'm saying? We gotta stay together. You feel me?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, who's next? Krista, Grant, Tamara.
Sure, I'll go next. Krista Piper. I own my own business. It's called Faithful Fitness. That's where I help people get spiritually, mentally, and emotionally fit, and physically fit, excuse me. But the Lord really told me to just make sure that I reach out to, so my social media handle on Instagram is I am Krista Piper. So you can definitely follow me there. But the Lord really wants you guys to really hone in on my husband's business. It's called Subgrew. It's a mental health social networking site. It's on
Yes.
only on Android at the moment, but it's specifically targeting everyone, of course. There's no demographic, but I'm saying this to our Black men that don't know how to have those conversations, that this is a place and a platform for you to come and find somebody to support you in your mental health. So it's SUPGRO. Subgrew is short for support group. And that's only on Android at the moment. We're working on getting that on Apple. So just keep that in your prayers. So we both do mental health. I'm a pastor in the Army. And so I take care of the ministry and the emotional and spiritual needs of soldiers. So please continue to pray for America. And that's what God has called me to. God bless you.
God
Amen.
bless you, sis. And we already
Thank you
connected,
so
so
much.
we gonna chop. We gonna chop.
Amen.
I guess ladies first. So Tamara.
Okay, I'm Tamara Young McCoy, recently married, so it's Young McCoy now. He's
Oh.
kind. It
A lot
was
of married ladies on this today. I love it.
his suggestion to hyphenate. He's so kind. Um, because of business reasons. But I run a platform called Art Soul Radio. We're a 24/7 online radio station and online magazine. We promote positive hip hop, CHH, positive R&B, gospel, worship, and more. So this song is a perfect fit for our station. We promote what we like to call life music, music you can live to. We believe Christians, are Christians first. They're people first. And they should be singing about everything. Love, valuing, I can't say the word, it's late. Showing value to everyone, that needs to be coming from us at the forefront first before anyone else. We try to encourage artists to do that, and we put them on platform for doing so. I also have a background in journalism and in TV and film, so I'm always looking to collaborate with other media-minded people, such as the ones on this talk today, to do other projects. I'm looking forward to doing some things like that with some other sisters and brothers as well in the future. So you can follow me on Instagram at Tamara L. Young. Still working on updating that handle. And it's Tamara L. Young everywhere on social media. And then the business is Art Soul Radio. which again is Art Soul Radio everywhere, also on social. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, etc.
Awesome.
So y'all connect. Cello, Tamara, y'all,
Oh yes.
Rachel, y'all connect. And I'm sending you the song today. I'm gonna send you the song. We talked about it last night. So
Please
I'm
keep
hyped.
making
I'm hyped.
more.
I'm hyped.
Keep
Yes.
making more. It's so good. All of
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, Dr. Martin Luther King, ladies and gentlemen.
You ain't right. You ain't
I
right.
told my brother when I first heard him preach, I said, that man sound like Martin Luther King. That
Not Dr. King.
man. No, y'all gotta hear this man preach. All right, but anyway, bro, tell him what you got going on, bro.
Pastor, church planter, Plant Renewal Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. My wife and I and our kids are moving there in 10 days. So we'll be planting a church there. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is at Grant Yao. And Facebook is Grant Yao as well. So follow me, keep up with us as we seek to plant this church. So pray for us as we try to, plant a church that reflects all of God's creative genius. So that's how you can keep updated with me.
Yes, sir. See, I got too many churches, man. I got Renewal Church. I got New and Living Way. I got Love of Jesus. Who else on here? It's too. I don't know where to go. Jesus help me. Anyway, I love you all. It was lovely to meet the ones that I've never met in person. And thank you for being a part of this conversation again. We can't thank you enough. This will only be part one. Okay, guys. We're going to where am I? We're going to there's some more things coming. There's some more things coming. Obviously, I won't tell it all, but more things coming. Please share the song, right? Share the song with another melanin man, a man that you think might be encouraged by it, a man that you know will be edified by it, and we'll be selling candy very soon. I'm just kidding. It's not true. Somebody thought that we were selling chocolate. They didn't know it was a song. They thought we were selling chocolate this entire time. It was like so funny. But that's the beauty of branding. Anywho, yeah, I'm gonna
not just the melanin men, but also women who are
yes,
caretakers of chocolate men, young men.
absolutely.
If you're connected to anybody that looks like this,
That
that
yeah,
is of the male
yeah,
persuasion, please,
hmm
absolutely, it's imperative. We need our doses of healing daily. You
for
gotta take your
sure.
vitamins daily. Get you some of this good old chocolate blooming.
That. So
Oh yeah.
give him your handles. Give him your situations. Tell him about Savor real quick.
Oh goodness gracious! Would you
I
really do?
mean, I said business and ministry, so hey, put
Okay.
it out there.
Um,
Why not?
Again, I'm Nikki Rochelle. I'm gonna listen here. I'm taking my hat off to you, Christian music, because it's I need to be reminded sometimes. But I definitely want to shout out my husband, who's not on here, but he was on here earlier. And my little hub here, Alexander Foster. I'm so appreciative of the wind beneath my wings, and the ability to be able to do what I do. But like I said, I am Nikki Rochelle, and I love what I do. I'm also starting to get back into all the things that God has gifted me for, also including some private chefing, so that I can provide some, not just assistance, but so that you have experience that makes you feel like you don't have to leave your home to have quality, um, but you're getting that good eating. And depending on what your needs are, I can support you. Yeah.
Yes. And music is coming.
Music.
All the Nikki Rochelle fans, listen to me.
Okay.
I've been begging her, but not just begging her. I have been putting boots on the ground. Like, listen, let's work. What do you need help with? Because we need to get this joint out. And I'm
Yes.
telling y'all, beautiful
Got
worshiper, beautiful artist, and I can't wait to see what Christia has coming up next because you got music coming out soon too. We're all like in a line. We're all like in a row, putting things out separately and together. So
Yeah.
tell them, Christia, tell them about Christia Music, and hold me down, whatever you want to put out there so we can tag you.
Yes. Hold me down. You guys could download it on all um, digital platforms. Uh, so that's Hold Me Down, iTunes, YouTube by Christia. All right. My Instagram is I am Christia Music. Facebook Christia Music. All right. So you can follow me on those platforms. I have music coming out May of 2022, and I can't wait. I am so excited.
Well, last but not least, me, right? Yeah. London Bridges, 2 L's, 2 S's on everything at LLONDONBRIDGESS. If you're not following me, follow me. Connect with me. I love the people of God, whatever denomination, whatever background, whatever color, whatever. If you love Jesus, I love you, period. I am a multi-hyphenate creative, so I have a background in graphic design. My company will be launched this year, iGate Media, and I will continue doing music, especially now with all this great feedback. I mean, the Lord is so kind. So what's happening? Oh yeah, and y'all are so just encouraging. I'm not gonna talk anymore. I'm gonna wrap this up. Chocolate Bloom, go get that. If you ain't got it, you're late to the party and you're a rotten egg. All right, so go get it. Chocolate Bloom, you can search for it. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, Tidal, literally all streaming platforms. You can find it. If you're on a streaming platform, you can find it. It would be lovely if you bought it. If how much do you really like it? That's what I want. If you really like it, you might want to cop that. So yeah, go get it. Keep streaming it. Run the numbers up, and let's continue giving God glory with our gifts. God bless everybody. We out.